What if we could travel through time not with a machine but with art and technology? Is it even possible? Oh yes. Thanks to AI, we can now reimagine what some of history's most iconic figures might look like if they lived among us today. From legendary composers to powerful monarchs, let's take a journey through time and watch the past come to life, face by face. Antonio Vivaldi. Born in the late 17th century, Vivaldi was both a violin virtuoso and a Catholic priest, though he's best remembered for his musical genius. Vivaldi lived during the Baroque era and wrote over 500 concertos. Despite his fame, he died in poverty and was buried in a simple grave. In his time, his vibrant music stood in contrast to his quiet, often troubled life. Now here's Vivaldi today, modernized. The flaming red curls are still there, but styled more fashionably. His eyes have that spark of creative madness, and he looks like someone who'd dominate the classical crossover scene or headline a Spotify playlist with millions of followers. Queen Anne. This regal painting shows Queen Anne, the last monarch of the House of Stuart. She ruled over Great Britain during the early 18th century and presided over a nation in transition, politically, culturally, and even medically. She endured personal tragedy with the loss of all her children and struggled with chronic illness throughout her life. Despite this, her reign shaped the future of modern Britain. Today, Queen Anne might resemble a poised political leader or a philanthropic businesswoman. AI gives her a commanding yet kind presence, someone you'd imagine on the cover of a World Affairs magazine or leading a royal foundation. Isaac Newton. Next, the iconic face of Isaac Newton, physicist, mathematician, and the father of classical mechanics. His theories changed our understanding of the universe. Born in the mid-17th century, Newton formulated the laws of motion and universal gravitation. His work laid the groundwork for centuries of scientific progress. But he wasn't just a scientist, he also dabbled in alchemy and biblical chronology. The modern Newton? He looks like a genius tech entrepreneur, the kind of guy who might run a quantum computing startup or host a wildly popular science podcast. That focused gaze hasn't changed, though, still exploring the mysteries of the universe. George Friedrich Handel. This is George Friedrich Handel, the German-British composer best known for Messiah. You know, the one with the famous Hallelujah chorus. Handel lived a dramatic life full of rivalries, fame, and musical breakthroughs. He blended German precision, Italian flair, and English choral traditions to create works that stirred the soul. Despite going blind later in life, he continued to compose until the end. Reimagined today, Handel could easily be a Grammy-winning conductor or the face of classical music's revival in pop culture. The AI version keeps his noble bearing. Imagine him wearing a velvet jacket, probably mentoring rising stars on a talent show. Johann Sebastian Bach. The next face is Johann Sebastian Bach, a titan of Baroque music and a master of complexity and emotion. Bach was a German composer and organist whose work, like the Brandenburg Concertos and the Well-Tempered Clavier, is studied by musicians to this day. Today, AI gives Bach a scholarly, almost introverted look, someone who might quietly change the world through music apps or compose symphonies using AI itself. His vibe? A music professor by day and underground electronic producer by night, Catherine the Great. Now we see Catherine the Great, Empress of Russia and one of the most powerful women in history. Catherine wasn't born Russian. She was a German princess who married into the Russian royal family and seized power after a coup. Her reign was marked by modernization, expansion, and a deep love for the arts and Enlightenment thinking. Modern Catherine could be a bold political leader or a high-powered CEO. She's got that unmistakable confidence and elegance, someone who's always 10 steps ahead, negotiating with world leaders or launching social reforms with style. Benjamin Franklin. Here's the ever-curious Benjamin Franklin, one of America's founding fathers, inventor of the lightning rod, and the guy who pretty much defined multitasking before it was a buzzword. Franklin was a printer, author, scientist, diplomat, and philosopher. He helped draft the Declaration of Independence, negotiated key treaties, and experimented with electricity. He was the embodiment of Enlightenment ideals in the American context. Modern Ben? Picture a tech innovator, maybe rocking smart glasses, podcasting about civic responsibility and cutting-edge science. The AI keeps its charm and intelligence, making it look like someone you'd want to follow on every platform. Thomas Jefferson. This thoughtful portrait shows Thomas Jefferson, third President of the United States and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Jefferson was a complex figure, an advocate for liberty and a slave owner, a lover of science and agriculture, and a founder of a university. His legacy is as monumental as it is debated. Reimagined today, Jefferson could be a policy wonk, maybe a university president with a passion for sustainable farming. He still looks like a thinker, someone constantly reflecting on big ideas and how to put them into practice. Madame de Pompadour. This elegant painting features Madame de Pompadour, the influential mistress of King Louis XV and a major cultural force in 18th century France. Pompadour wasn't just a court favorite, she was a patron of the arts, a supporter of philosophers, and a key player in politics. She helped shape Rococo style and championed the Enlightenment thinkers of her time. In the modern world, she'd be a fashion icon and cultural influencer, maybe running an art foundation or directing films. Her AI version radiates elegance and creativity, someone making headlines for all the right reasons. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Finally, we have Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, the German writer and statesman behind Faust and the Sorrows of Werther. Goethe was a literary giant, philosopher, and scientist. He helped define Romanticism, explored color theory, and dabbled in just about every intellectual pursuit of his time. His work still resonates with readers and scholars today. Today's Goethe? He looks like a soulful novelist or TED speaker, perhaps writing bestsellers while advocating for mental health and philosophical reflection. You can almost hear him saying something profound on social media. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, the child prodigy who composed over 600 works and shaped the classical music era. Mozart was performing across Europe before he turned 10. His talent was so extraordinary, many believed it to be divine. He composed entire operas in his head and transformed Western music forever before passing at just 35. Now, imagine Mozart today. No powdered wig, slicked back brown hair, a velvet blazer, and a thoughtful gaze. He looks like the kind of guy who might headline international piano concerts, but with earbuds in, composing symphonies on a laptop. Jane Austen. This is Jane Austen, captured in a rare watercolor portrait. Reserved, modest, and always writing, Jane's writing unveiled the social intricacies of 19th century England with wit and precision. In our time, Jane might be a sharp-witted novelist with a cult following on TikTok. She wears a minimalist sweater, glasses perched on her nose, and a mischievous smile. Her eyes say, "I've observed everything and I'm writing it all down." Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin, the man whose theory of evolution changed science forever. In this photo, he appears with a serious face, a long white beard, and the weight of a discovery in his eyes. Darwin sailed on the HMS Beagle and returned with ideas that shocked the world. Natural selection wasn't just controversial, it challenged the very foundation of religious belief in the Victorian era. In the modern world, Darwin could be a TED speaker or an evolutionary biologist on YouTube. He's clean-shaven with curious eyes and a thoughtful smirk. Queen Victoria. A young Queen Victoria stares solemnly in this early daguerreotype. She was only 18 when she inherited the British crown. Today, she might look like a fierce political leader, sleek bun, tailored blazer, and that unmistakable royal aura. With commanding eyes, she radiates elegance and responsibility, like someone who'd chair global summits and trend on social media for her speeches. Florence Nightingale. During the Crimean War, Florence Nightingale revolutionized healthcare by introducing hygiene and record-keeping in military hospitals. Modern Florence? Think of a leading public health figure. She wears scrubs with a stethoscope, hair in a practical bun, and holds a clipboard, not out of duty, but purpose. Her eyes say she's already saved 100 lives today. Empress Sisi. This ethereal beauty is Empress Elizabeth of Austria, known as Sisi. She captivated Europe with her elegance, but behind the glamour was a deeply complex soul. Sisi was more than a royal consort. She detested court life, embraced poetry and travel, and struggled with personal tragedy. Today's Cece would break Instagram, flowing hair, model looks, but her feed wouldn't be all glamour. There'd be raw captions about self-love, rebellion, and escaping expectations. A queen of dualities. Young Stalin. Before he became the face of terror, Stalin was a poet, a revolutionary, and an idealist. He walked the streets of Georgia with a fire in his heart, one that would burn into something much darker. Modern Stalin might be mistaken for an activist influencer. Tousled hair intact, sharp jawline, piercing stare. He could be on magazine covers until you read the caption and wonder about the shadows behind that charm. Titus, Roman Emperor. Carved in stone and frozen in time. This is Emperor Titus. Son of Vespasian, he ruled during the Roman Empire's golden age and completed the Colosseum, inaugurating it with 100 days of games. Though his rule was short, he was beloved for his generosity during disasters like the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. Unlike many emperors, Titus died with his reputation intact. As a modern figure, Titus might be a humanitarian leader, sharp suit, salt and pepper hair, and calm authority. He'd walk into UN meetings with quiet confidence, perhaps still bearing that Roman noble charm. Saint Joan of Arc. Here's a depiction of Joan of Arc, the teenage peasant girl who led French armies by divine vision. She wore armor, rode into battle, and changed the course of history before being burned at the stake at just 19. Canonized centuries later, Joan remains a symbol of courage, faith, and resistance. Her voice, once doubted, became immortal. In today's world, Joan might be a fearless activist. Cropped hair, militant jacket, fire in her eyes. She'd live stream from protests and post-rallying speeches, the kind that sparks revolutions. Anne Boleyn. This delicate portrait is Anne Boleyn, the queen who changed English history. Her intelligence and allure captivated Henry VIII, leading to the Church of England's creation. But her rise was swift and her fall brutal. Beheaded on charges that many now believe were false, Anne became a cautionary tale of power, love, and betrayal in the Tudor court. Modern Anne? A fashion-forward diplomat or cunning PR genius. She wears a statement dress and a bold look, her expression unreadable. Her story isn't a tragedy, it's a legacy. History is filled with legends, people we only know through faded paintings or cracked photographs. But what if they lived today? Thanks to AI, we can reimagine their presence in our time. Which transformation surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss our next dive into History Reimagined. Because sometimes the past is just one filter away from the present.